discuss the emotional and behavioral changes of Jin and the Monkey King throughout the novel. How did they respond and react to the environments? How are they affected by the way other people treat them? What are the forces that cause them to change from the beginning to the middle to the end of the story? How do the characters American-born Chinese transform themselves for American society? What can be learned from the Monkey King and the other characters who return to their true form in the novels? And specific examples.
So, I said, like, for Jin, he really just changed himself for his environment and what he thought other people would like. So I used the example on page 98 was when he changed his hair to look like Timmy's. So, because he thought that Amelia would like that. And it was just because he saw Amelia talking to Timmy and that just prompted him to change his hair. And it was just other people making fun of him for stereotypes. Like, for example, when he started going to that school, he was eating lunch with chopsticks, and I think he was eating dumplings. And then a short while later, he started bringing sandwiches, which is, like, more common. So he definitely transformed himself for American society just to be more American and more like everybody else at his school. But I think when he returns to his true form, we can learn that he really was just happiest being himself and being like not trying to be what other people wanted him to be, but being what he wanted to be.
I agree with Natasha. I had the same exact example for Jin. And for the Monkey King, I said that one example of him changing was on page 56. It was like following him being like discriminated against, like not allowed into the party because he's a monkey. He locked himself like deep down, like way down into the earth. He meditates and trains. He doesn't eat or drink anything. It was like kind of his way of coping with it, and then kind of just like made him realize like I am a monkey, and like he is just like from then on like that determines what he'll do throughout the book.
I said a very similar thing. I said like for like the immediate response to the Monkey King was they just try to beat everybody up, and then that was like on page 16 when he let him into the party, and then he usually like changed something about him like on page 61 where he became like more human-like and like started wearing shoes. And then with Jin, I said the same thing. It was just on page like 98. He changed his hair because he saw Amelia talking to a guy that had the same hair.
I agree with Natasha and Tyler's point. I feel that peer pressure was a big factor because they wanted to basically look like everyone else, so they didn't have to be considered outsiders anymore. For example, on page 104, Jin gets asked, like in his journey or something like that, what he wants to be like, and then at the end he turns into Danny to be more recognized as more of an American.
For the Monkey King, I went back to page 63 and 64, and how like he did the training already, and then wanted people to start calling him the Great Sage Equal of Heaven. And then like once they did it and they were like laughing at him, he just like started beating them up and everything. And then I said he like changed on page 150 when the monk was like talking to him and trying to get him out of like trying to help him to realize that he's just as great as he is just being the monkey and not trying to be a human and everything. So that was what I said, like I guess he changed back to realize that he's just as great as a monkey then, having all those powers of being the great sage or whatever.
I agree with that. I feel like their environments just like was like the driving force why they wanted to be accepted. Like Jin went to like a predominantly white school and like he started seeing like oh like this is what they dress like, this is what they act like, and he wanted to like appropriate their culture. So he just like decided to forget like about his and just join like the in crowd, I guess, just to fit in. So it just shows how like he had like a struggle with himself to fit in with like his school and like the society and just not be so Asian, I guess. So it's like each step he tried to get closer and closer until like he actually made like that wish to be white and like actually woke up white like the morning on page. I think that was page 127. Yeah. So I feel like it just shows how like his true form was like his actual form, but like he wasn't happy being who he was.
Yeah, going off that, kind of in all three of the stories, you could see throughout, they all just wanted to be just like everyone else. They didn't want to be looked at as an outcast necessarily. In their own world, they all wanted to fit in. They didn't want to be almost made fun of because of their own qualities that they have. And then finally on page 194, when we see Jin transforms into Danny, you can just tell kind of right away that I mean, he's shocked when he first looks into the mirror, but he almost likes his new life because he's not going to be looked at as the Asian kid anymore, and maybe the girls will finally start to like him because he looks more like an American boy.
I sort of took it from a different angle. I sort of combined the two. So I used page 158 and page 214. On page 158, the monkey decides to like forego trying to be a god, and he stays sort of true to himself, and he goes on that journey to help Yesos, or the god or whatever. And then on page 214, it's after Danny or Jin had turned back into Danny, but now it's Danny turns back into Jin. So what I got from both these two is that like they figure out who they really are, and they return to that. They don't try to be anything they're not. Jin doesn't try to be a white person, and the monkey doesn't try to be a god. He decides to be a monkey again, and Danny decides to be Jin again. So it was sort of good to see that they're really realizing who they are, and they're embracing that.
Was anyone kind of confused on why like curly hair was more American when he changed it?
I think it was like the
Greg.
American.
She was talking to Greg,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Oh, Greg has curly hair. She's talking to Greg. Maybe if I have curly hair, she'll talk to me." I don't think it was more of, I don't know if it was an American thing. I think it was just more of like a general, like, she's talking to people with curly hair, so maybe I'll have curly
Was
hair.
that kind of like a perm though? So like that'd be seen as like an American hairstyle. So
It could be,
because
yeah, I
I know
agree,
like
it could
Asian
be.
people technically, like they
Yeah,
always have
true.
straight hair.
True.
yeah.
So the example that I use, well, I said that all the characters learned a very valuable lesson. Like Jin and the Monkey King, they did everything that they could do to fit into their surroundings, whether it was like school or in public or with other people. And as the story went on, all the characters changed themselves so much that it ended up firing back at them at the end. And they realized that they shouldn't change who they are to fit in with other people or please other people. So an example that I said was on 77 and 78. And it was kind of like karma for the Monkey King, because when he transformed into his more humanized self, he became a lot more close-minded and stuck up, and he thought he was better than everyone else. And so when all this happened, when the Monkey King was trying to prove, I don't know if you say his name, but like the other like,
Great siege of something.
Yeah.
Heaven and
yeah, it was like that other
The great
god
sage
or
eagle of
something.
heaven.
Yeah, so then he was trying to prove that he was more, like Monkey King was more important than him by carving his name into the 5 gold panels. And I don't know, and that just like showed that like it was really just the like other guy's hand. But I don't know, I guess where I'm going at with that was because he was trying to change himself so much, it ended up backfiring back at him.
If you guys are wondering, we're at 8:30.
Should we just go to the next question?
we got 7 minutes and a half.
You guys got like more like 5, but yeah. Do you guys have one more question? Okay.
So, I mean, I guess this is like kind of relating to the next question, but through like seeing all of the characters change so much throughout the story, what other like novel or like movie that like we've read or seen in class, like can we do you relate it most to? Or like people like growing up and changing and maturing?
Well, I think like Big Daddy kind of has to do with, I guess, not stereotypes, but like changing, because like Sully, I can't remember the names, changed to be like a better father for the little boy. So I guess that kind of has to do with like maturing and changing.
Well, I think with like changing, Mean Girls would be like the best example, just because like she completely changed herself. The girl from Africa is a plastic.
Yeah, I'd say Mean Girls was like actually pretty similar to the story in a way because she saw what was being popular and she wanted to be like that. And in the same case of what Jin wanted to be like in the story, he wanted to be just like Greg.
Yeah, we also saw sort of the stereotypes in Mean Girls too, not necessarily the Asian ones, but we saw sort of the gay stereotypes and the dumb blonde stereotypes. I know he had us write down all 15 of those stereotypes, and I mean, I had all 15 of those written down the first day, and I wasn't even like reaching them, and they're just like so there and out, like so easy to see. So it necessarily wasn't like pounding in on that Asian stereotype or one stereotype, but it was easy to see that we sort of hit on a bunch of different stereotypes every day, and it just sort of happens in everyday life.
We can probably go on to the next one.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Alright.